Hi, my name's Jeff Kreisbecker. Today we're going to take you step by step through the proper techniques of sliding your trailer tandems. The primary reason for sliding your trailer tandems is for weight distribution. You want to obtain 34,000 pounds on your trailer tandems, 34,000 pounds on your drive axles, and 12,000 pounds on your steers. A couple of the other reasons for sliding your tandems would be certain states have bridge laws, which is a kingpin setting, and then also turning radiuses. Sometimes when you're in a real tight area, you can shrink your trailer tires up or slide them forward. You can make it around corners and things a lot easier. But when doing this, always remember your tail swing. Okay, the textbook answer is 250 pounds per hole. These holes located here. Now that may vary depending on where your cargo is actually located in your trailer. Sometimes you'll have problems getting these locking pins to release. The one thing you want to remember is when you slide your tandems, find a safe, level area. You always want to have your vehicle units in line. You want to be straight in line when you do it. If you try to slide them in a turn, you'll only bind them. Back here is your locking pin handle. This is what you pull to release your tandem locking pins. What you do is you set your vehicle brakes, you grab a hold of your lever, and you pull, locking it into place. There's a notch which you must set this handle down into to lock it. Then you always want to double check all of your pins to make sure they're fully retracted so that your tandems can slide easily. Some of the things that you can do to help your trailer tandem slide easier is spray them with silicone. I've heard of people using dishwater soap or dish soap. What you always want to try to do is make sure you have good traction on both your drive axles and your trailers, and make sure this is locked. Sometimes gently rocking back and forth can get them to release. I myself have used bungee cords, hooking them on the side of the trailer here and looping them through the handle and rehooking them to the trailer. Sometimes you can tie a knot in the bungee cords to make them shorter so there's more tension on it. When doing this, make sure you're careful that they don't snap off and smack you in the face. Alright, these tandems appear to be released. We're going to go check the pins on the other side. Here's an example of your locking pin being fully retracted. You can see that it's cleared all the way through both your trailer and your tandems. You want to make sure all four are retracted before sliding. Okay, now I'm going to get back into the vehicle. The first thing you want to remember is safety. You want to make sure there's no one around you, there's nobody that's got between your trailer and any obstacles. You want to make sure your brakes are set, all of them. One last thing to remember before sliding your tandems is you always use your first gear or low reverse. Okay, now we've slid our trailer tandems all the way forward. What we're going to do now is we're going to release the locking pins by lightly tapping on the bottom of this handle. It should go back into the locked position. As you can see, it's not. As you walk over here, you can see your locking pins are not fully extended through the holes of the trailer frame. So what we're going to have to do is gently pull forward to make sure all of the pins extend through the frame. Okay, this is what the locking pins should look like, just like when we started. All 4 should extend through the trailer frame. Some of the things to think about while sliding these tandems is when you have somebody helping you, always beware of these tires, or when you're helping someone else. Do not get in between these tires. If you do, the brakes may slip, an injury may result, or fatality. These are the proper ways to slide your tandems. Okay, now we're going to slide our 5th wheel. It's basically the same thing as sliding your tandems, except for you have to find a place that's going to support the weight of the trailer, because we will be dollying down. When you dolly down, what that does is it helps you slide your 5th wheel easier. When you dump the air out of your bags, or if you have a vehicle without an air dump, you utilize the low gear on the dollies and you take as much weight off the tractor as possible, and that's going to allow us to slide the 5th wheel easier. One of the reasons for sliding your 5th wheel is for weight distribution. If you have too much weight on your steer axles, you want to slide your 5th wheel back to the rear. If you want to put more weight on your steer axles, you then slide it forward. Some of the precautions on sliding the 5th wheel is when you have your 5th wheel slid all the way forward, you want to watch your air fairings on your tractor. And you want to watch our older series trailers, the 8.0s and 8.1s. They have a deeper kingpin setting, which means the kingpin actually sets further back in the trailer than the other ones. These notches on the 5th wheel are approximately 500 pounds per notch. That may vary. You want to make sure that your 5th wheel is well lubricated. If you have a lot of dirt, salt, or road grime that's built up, it's going to be more difficult to slide your 5th wheel. So if it's well lubricated, it should slide much easier. Okay, now we're going to dolly down. The first thing you want to do is you want to check your landing gear to make sure that it's got all the bolts are in place. If these support brackets are straight, not bent or cut, you want to make sure that these sand chutes are in place. When we're sliding the 5th wheel, we're going to be placing different kind of force on this landing gear. It's going to be a little bit forward or backward pressure, depending on which way you're sliding your 5th wheel. Dollying down to get to the pavement before contact, you use the high gear range, which is the end position on all of our trailers. Once you've contacted the pavement, you now pull the handle outward, make sure that it's locked, and then continue. This lower gear ratio makes it a lot easier to crank. It takes a little longer, but it's a lot easier. Now, as you can hear, the air is now coming out of the suspension. That means that we've brought most of the weight up off the vehicle. We're now going to use our dump valve in the tractor to release the rest of it. So the truck is going to kind of be almost hanging from the trailer. Okay, we've now successfully slid our 5th wheel forward. Now we have to come out and we have to check both of the sliding lock bars. As you can tell, this is not locked. The pin does not come all the way through the hole. so we're going to have to gently pull forward to get this to lock. Okay, we now come back here and we check that the locking pins are all the way through the rails. They're all the way extended through the holes. We've now inflated our air suspension to help put some of the weight back on the truck and aid us in bringing the dollies, raising the dolly legs. Now remember, whenever you're finished raising the dolly legs, always make sure this handle's locked. When this thing's loose, it can fall off, it can be ran over by a car or bounced up into a car or cause other injuries. Make sure this is locked. As you can notice how close this is now. And this is one of our newer trailers. The older trailers will be much closer. You have to pay real close attention in your turns. In conclusion, a few things to remember is to always have the landing gear down. If you try to slide your fifth wheel without having the weight off of the tractor, damage could result, and it would be very difficult, if not impossible. There's nothing wrong with asking somebody for help with either sliding your tandems or your fifth wheel. Another thing to remember is when sliding either your tandems or your fifth wheel is to do it gently. Never slam them up against the stops. Damage could result. Safety. Always look at what's around you. Always make sure there's nobody in front of your vehicle or around your vehicle when executing these maneuvers. Thank you.